Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our episode of A Free and French Press. We're housing through lots of cups of coffee tonight. I have my good friend here with me, Pesach Mordecai Shlomo Shmuel.
Ben Shmuel.
Ben Shmuel, my good friend here. I call him Phil, but that's just my little pet name for him. He is an anarchist, propagandist, and not a microbiologist, a micrologist.
An amateur mycologist.
Okay, so that's Phil, and he's here to provide some perspective on a few things. I'm also here with Lyda Loudon, who is the CEO of the L3 Foundation and a journalist. So we're talking about a few things. We've been looking through the paper, drinking a lot of coffee. We're very tweaked out. We're talking about some big issues. A lot of big issues in the world that I'm freaked out about, and hopefully you guys can provide me some comfort so I can sleep tonight. Probably going to be hard because I had like 10 cups of coffee in a short period of time, but we'll see. So, a lot of things going on. Disease is going on. Terrorism is going on. Politics as usual is going on, and nobody likes that. That's almost the worst out of the three. Phil's an anarchist, and Lyda, what do you want to identify yourself as for the sakes of the conversation? I know it's not an easy question.
It's another one of those that depends on the issue.
Yeah.
But I associate with a little bit with objectivism, a little bit with conservatism, a little bit with libertarianism. Basically, my primary political philosophy is just freedom-oriented everything. So, yeah.
So freedom to you, I hear a lot. Propaganda-wise, it gets thrown out. Freedom. And to me, it's starting to sound, unfortunately, like a buzzword. Freedom sounds like a buzzword. I don't know what it means anymore because all I hear everywhere is, well, our freedom and our freedom. What do you mean by freedom? Do we talk about individual freedom? Are we talking about freedom from something? What are we talking about when you say freedom?
I'm not talking about freedom. I'm talking about basically the individual's right to choose whatever out of whatever in their life. In individual freedom within America, I think people should be generally free to do whatever they want as long as it doesn't harm others. So that's basically what I mean by freedom.
I would define freedom as having three basic components. Freedom of association, the freedom to associate. Freedom within association, which means decision-making power proportionate to how decisions affect you. And freedom from associations, the ability to disassociate without harming others. And I agree that freedom should end where somebody else's freedom begins.
Can you just
There's a lot of
dub
words.
his voice over mine when my mouth is moving
That
back
would
there?
look and sound weird.
There is no reason to create jobs. What we need to do is destroy jobs. But the problem
I've
is...
never heard that before.
Here's the problem, though. In our current system, job destruction is violent. All these people would be without wages, without money to buy stuff for their family. They wouldn't have enough. So within the current system, there's a huge issue where technological unemployment is extremely violent. What we need is a system that allows technological unemployment to be nonviolent. That is a system that allows for nonviolent job destruction. So people are now free to do what they want to do instead of what they're being forced to do due to an economy that doesn't use the current technology that we have available.
We're inclined to be compassionate towards those who are capable, and on the individual level, on a voluntary level, we often pool those resources and give them to those who aren't capable.
Yeah.
But the government tells us that we're all selfish and we should be, and we should just relax and depend on them and let them take care of us. And the rich are all horrible, awful bastards who have taken everything from the poor. Culture screams the same message, by the way, of course. That everybody who's rich is pretty much bad and shouldn't have money to get rid of the poor. That's why the poor is poor, which just is not the case.
Think about all the people who want to be
day-to-day.
scientists, who want to be musicians, who want to be whatever it is, and they don't even have the means to get that. They don't have the means of production necessary, let alone the means of existence, such as a house.
But do you think everyone has that in them?
Everyone has.
I guess everyone has obviously a creative.
I don't.
You don't think?
I don't think if you're born and you have healthcare, food, water, and access to all the different forms of distraction you can get in the 21st century, if you have a computer and some video games and a
Sure,
TV,
sure.
which you can get, why would you ever leave your house? And you
Yeah.
can go out and you can go to a restaurant and eat, and go to a park and eat the what food and water you're already given.
You can be
What do
pretty
you lack?
comfortable
Well,
without.
humans have psychological and social needs to associate with other humans on vast levels. So people would love going outside. They love meeting face to face. They love having adventures.
Right, so
and
why would they not do all that? What would incline them to work and become productive to
the
society?
fact that they want to internally, we have this whole idea that the only reason people do things is because of external rewards and punishments. But do we need carrots and sticks to motivate us to do things? I don't
Sometimes,
think so.
probably
so.
though.
Well,
at the end
but
of the
could it be argued that the artificial suffering, or whatever you're calling it, where people have to work jobs that suck, is what propels them to work really hard and try to move up the ladder to jobs that don't really suck and build something of themselves? Because at some point you have to build character.
Those are
Well,
all
I
lessons
agree
learned.
with something that you said, that motivation isn't something that we're necessarily born with. That's learned behavior.
Right.
I just think the best way to learn motivation for things that are relevant to biopsychosocial well-being of people, the best way to do that would be through self-love.
Do you get hate mail?
Oh, absolutely. Death threats and hate death threats.
You get death threats.
Death threats and hate mail
Who do you
and
get death threats from?
messages. I don't pay
Well, she
attention
doesn't know
to
what
it.
they are.
No one lets me respond to the comments, like the nasty comments.
Right.
I want to be like, but everyone's like, Lida, put it
Yeah.
down, put it down, put it down. I'm like, okay.
I've only gotten death threats from Zionists who hate me because I'm a Jew against Zionism. Those
Well-
are the only people I've ever gotten death threats
I could
from.
see that because you're very.
People I know too. Creepy.
That's
Really?
crazy
Anyone
and
I
that's stupid.
Oh yeah.
There have been death threats from directions you would not expect death threats to come from, in my opinion.
I want to end on this. Politics aside, I don't want you to get freaking heavy with this. Like you
Oh,
do
you're right.
everything, okay?
Oh, right.
Literally, one time we're walking outside somebody's house, and I complimented their lawn, and he went into a whole thing about how the lawn is the private property and the yada yada yada.
Well, it's a way
and
of
it was
showing-
a whole thing. I just wanted
Wait,
to compliment
no,
the.
you don't believe in private property?
Well, I
I
don't want to.
believe. Oh, we want to talk about property real quick.
No, we don't.
No.
All I'm saying is that he
Here's the
takes.
irony.
I was complimenting shrubs, and he turned it into a whole thing. I want you to think very simple for a moment. Okay? Who, out of all the politicians and people, who do you like the most
No.
as a character? As a character, like
Who's the funniest?
yeah, who's your favorite one in terms of celebrity?
Real quick, I don't believe in private property. We'll discuss that afterwards. I think
Well,
You can't have a system without private property.
I-
No one will do
I want to hear
anything.
who's your favorite
I believe
character.
in personal property and common property and anti-authoritarian collective property. My favorite political character is Vladimir Putin.
Does fraud count as anti-authoritative private property? Just wondering. Because that's what's important here.
I'll explain to you the distinctions after this, but my favorite character on the political scene is Vladimir Putin because he cracks me up with the pictures of him with dolphins and horses, and I
He's
think
funny.
He's
a
really,
propaganda
he's really
machine.
funny.
Being a heartless, shallow bitch, I really like
You are
making fun of Chris Christie. And I know that's going to
too easy.
break your little...
Yeah, because I'm an
East
Italian
Coast
boy
heart.
from New Jersey, and he's what I aspire
I know,
to
I'm
be.
breaking your
Ugh.
little East Coast heart. But, you know, he's pretty fun to make fun of. He says some funny stuff.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
As a character, I like him.
As a president, potentially.
Give up.
All right. On that note, everybody have a good night. It was a pleasure. Hopefully, we'll be back soon. Thanks again, Philip and Lida, for being here. Have a good night. God bless.
Now he's Philip.
God bless.
Hashem.
I'm an atheist.
Softly rejecting softly. It's very soft to reject. What was it? Social anarchy?
Social anarchy.